Hey guys, welcome to my channel. I'm Kat. I make nerdy, creepy, anime, horror, just all around weird cakes and chocolate sculptures. If you clicked on this video, you already know we're doing a Matilda themed cake, specifically based on the character Bruce Bogtrotter. Hopefully you remember him from the books if you ever read it, or if you saw the movie, specifically the one from the 90s. We are doing the Danny DeVito produced Matilda. Produced, directed, maybe all of the above. But this was one of my favorite books growing up. I read it on repeat. Like, I can't even tell you how many times I read it. I would say maybe James and the Giant Peach beat it out in terms of like Roald Dahl books that I was super addicted to. And then of course it was one of my favorite childhood movies. I'm sorry if I'm like glistening. It's pretty warm here today for some reason, God knows why. But we are doing Bruce Bogtrotter. This is an idea that I thought of quite a while ago. I wasn't sure when I would do it. I just thought, like, if I have the time to do it in between like movie releases, because I try to do my cakes based off of movies that are coming out, or at least I'm trying to, that I thought I could just fit this idea right in. I was stalling because human faces are hard, or at least I feel like I'm definitely a novice at it. I'm a novice at making cakes, for Christ's sakes. So I put it off for a while, but then I made the Violet Beauregarde cake. If you haven't seen that one, check it out. I was pretty happy with her. It's pretty grotesque and weird, and that's definitely my thing. And I made that for the new Wonka movie that came out, which, by the way, I haven't even seen yet. But I do love Charlie and the Chocolate Factory a lot. I just haven't seen that newest one yet. I don't think I'm ready to. I am a millennial. I cling on to the things that made up my childhood. Anyways, and so I made Violet, and I was pretty happy with her, but I just thought, I feel like this could be better. I was like, I want to make a really grotesque child, and I'm sorry if that's offensive in any way. This is just a character, it's fiction. This person isn't real, even though the actor who portrayed him was, but I thought he did a great job in that role. And so I thought this will be like retribution, because I was like, about Violet, let's make Bruce really good. Obviously he's going to be chocolate cake, so hopefully this meets your expectations. Please make sure to like, subscribe, ring the bell, check back for more videos. I would love to have you join me for this cake and for many more. Here we go. Today is day one of starting the project, so I will be doing a sketch as usual. This is the reference picture, or one of a couple. I feel like I want to do a combination. I definitely want his face to be covered in a bunch of chocolate. The more grotesque, the better. I definitely want him to look queasy. There's not a lot of like high-res image options available online, so I'm probably gonna have to rewatch the movie, which I'm not complaining about. Take a moment to appreciate how beautiful these pencils are. I had bought them, like I used them in a previous video. I don't know if it was the previous two, but I've been using them lately and I love them, and they're super cheap. Love them. Here is the final sketch. I just decided to draw a head-on version. All right, let's get started making our ingredients. Okay, for the materials, so obviously he's going to be that chocolate cake that I mentioned already. I got these super moist Betty Crocker cake mix boxes, or at least my loving husband bought them for me. So I'm gonna use 2 of those. I also have a batch of frosting that I'm going to thaw, or is in the middle of thawing. I'll be mixing some cocoa powder into this so it becomes chocolate buttercream. I'm also going to be trying my hand at some chocolate ganache. I love chocolate ganache. I looked up the recipe and it's really easy to use. It's just a 1-to-1 ratio of heavy cream and chocolate. And so I bought actual chocolate. This differs from like my candy meltables that I use for the outer coating. This is just pure actual chocolate. I still got them in these little like wafers because they're supposed to be easier in terms of making your ganache like melt consistently. I think we'll start with the cake so I can get the cake in the oven. By the way, look at this giant box of candy melts that I got. I got them shipped from Michael's. I think they have like a buy over $50, get free shipping. So they sent me this giant heavy box. I was running really low on white and I definitely needed brown for this project. Happy to know that they do free shipping because I don't live near Michael's anymore. So this is really convenient just for me to like really stock up in big batches. That way I don't have to keep going back to the stores. So the ratio I use, I'm wondering if it's because I'm not using like pure chocolate, but the ratio I use just ended up making chocolate milk, chocolate cream. And so I decided to add more chocolate, like I have way more wafers in here, if you can see that. And I'm putting it over like a double boiler setup, at least I think that's what it's called, to gently melt them in. Hopefully that works. I'm using way more of these wafers than I intended. Thank God they're not too expensive, and any extra I have I'll just stick in the freezer for future projects. Cakes are out of the oven and cooling. Ganache is also cooling. I think I might whip it later. We'll see tomorrow. Last step is to make the modeling chocolate mix. Skin tone, white for his shirt, and then of course brown for his hair. Okay, here is the chocolate ganache that I made. I checked the consistency earlier today and you can see I took like a scoop out. And it's way better than what it was like while I was making it. It's very like gooey and fudgy, and I think I could just use this to cover the cake. He is already carved up. I think I did a pretty decent job considering I felt like I had no idea how this was gonna work out, but he looks pretty good. I'm probably gonna stick some dowels in for support, but otherwise let's get frosting. Here is all the modeling chocolate I made yesterday. I'm gonna go ahead and knead all of these. They're very hard right now. And then mix my colors. I'm gonna roll out the modeling chocolate I prepped yesterday. Do my initial layer to cover the cake. We got skin and we got hair. Please excuse my appearance. I just got out of the shower 15 minutes ago and it's freezing and my hair's still wet. But we are jumping back into making this cake. I actually had a really stressful moment because the ganache was making the cake layers slide and I don't think I filmed it. This was the day before yesterday because yesterday I was out all day. And so I was just really stressed out. I probably stress ate some ganache, like a lot of ganache. It was kind of a hot mess, but I managed to seal him all in with modeling chocolate. So you see how he's kind of like leaning forward? Hold on, let me fix my camera. Okay, so he's definitely like leaning forward, which is the look I was trying to go for because he's kind of like about to barf or yak. So I did like how he ended up turning out, but when it comes to using ganache between cake layers, I mean, I probably should have leveled the cake layers more. I just kind of plopped them on top so they were resting at an angle, and the slippery ganache in between each layers, of course, it was starting to fall forward. I reinforced with boba straws, my secret weapon, or just because I have them laying around. And I stuck it in the fridge real quick so that the ganache and the buttercream that I used would kind of harden because of the cool air, and it worked. I mean, he's been in the fridge like this all day yesterday and still looks pretty much the same as when I plopped him in, and definitely adding that shell of modeling chocolate to kind of like reinforce. I think that also helped. But today we're going to attempt to make this look more like a human child about to puke. So here we go. I already have my modeling chocolate sliced up and slightly warm so that they're easier to work with. Instead of adding, I've been subtracting. It looks like cartman right now. But I'm trying to like map out how his face should be, you know, on his face. His face on his face. And so I've just been slowly carving down just so that it makes sense. And I feel like carving down first before adding anything will really help in terms of like how heavy he's going to be, because I'd rather him not be too heavy, especially when the cake slices are, or the sponge layers are at an angle. Alleviate that pressure on that diagonal. Day 3, here's what I have. So his face is definitely showing through. I also gave him a little more of a hairline. His hair is definitely not done yet. So I'm going to continue working on his face, making sure that he's sealed correctly, because I had initially slapped on the initial layer. I just want to make sure there's not going to be any like open air pockets where the cake would be exposed. Tilted out. So I smoothed out his face. Hopefully you can see a difference from when I started earlier today to now. I'm gonna pop in his eyes real quick. As always, that usually brings the character to life for obvious reasons. So let's do that. Here's what I have today. I'm going to fluff out his hair. You can see he kind of has like this Beethoven-ish hairdo going on. By the way, I'm pretty sure this is him present day. What a glow up. But yeah, I'm gonna do that. Just add some volume to this guy. And we're ready to paint. I was actually pretty burnt out after today's session. So I turned on Matilda, like the actual movie, to get some inspiration. I think it's helping. As usual, I'll just show a little bit of my painting because I do love that grand reveal. I'm a sucker for those. So he definitely needs eyebrows. His lips shaded in. He does have like blush, like his skin is pinkish. And of course, all the chocolate that needs to go all over his mouth area. Oh, excuse that, that's just from last minute sculpting. But let's start using the food coloring powder set that I got, that I love so much. And here is Bruce. Isn't he beautiful? I love him so much. So I know I put in like boba straws to support him to stay upright. I think they're mostly around the middle of his head, so I'm gonna kind of try to cut or off to the side, like at the third mark. Dude. Oh my god. Oh yeah. That is so messed up. Get a bigger plate. Oh my god. Ugh, I love it. It brings me so much joy. Yes. As you can see, it's kind of hard to see the layers because it's ganache. You can see the buttercream around it. But it held up pretty well considering like the slant that it's on. That was a big mistake. I don't know why I didn't think of fixing that. You can see the boba straw right down there. That's so funny. Cheers. I wish there was a little more ganache. I feel like it could be more, like when I look at the cake in the movie, it's very moist looking, sorry for that word. It's very thick and rich, and my hands are just a bit tied because if I used any more, the whole thing would have just fallen apart. But now I know to focus more on my technique just a little bit more for my next project, if I ever end up using ganache again. But it tastes delicious, tastes really chocolatey. And that was my chocolate Bruce Bogtrotter cake. That is a mouthful, isn't it always? I was really happy with how he turned out. I was definitely nervous going into it and thinking like, was this the right idea to do a queasy overweight child covered in chocolate? But I think he paid off. I think he came out much better than I expected, honestly. It's giving me confidence to do more human-based characters and not just creatures. He definitely doesn't look exactly like the actor, but I feel like he really captures the essence. Like he really looks like he's gonna barf chocolate cake, and he's delicious. And it's just everything that I could have asked for. So I'm really stoked about it. I hope you guys liked it too. Make sure to stick around because I'll be doing a lot more fun, weird, gross, grotesque cakes if that is your thing. Make sure to like, subscribe, and ring that notification bell, and I will see you next time. Bye.